created using Powtoon.
my sense of direction, and I needed some strength and protection. Walking away with you, I go walking away with you. And when I'm faced with a tricky temptation, I abandon the whole situation. Walking away with you, I go walking away with you. Oh, what a fail-safe plan, just walking hand in hand. And I go walking away with you. If I didn't have you to turn everything to, then where would I turn? There've never been more than a single breath away. I have never felt so much security knowing you're with me. And I'm so glad to find the reason that I'm happy sad, since you tore it all away. And I'm so glad, though it hurts to know I'm leaving everything I ever thought that I would be. Once I held it in my hand, it was a kingdom made of sand. Then you blew it all away. I can't believe that I can say that I'm glad. Take my life, a living sacrifice, knowing it's the least that I can do. Make my life a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to you. On the cross you took our place, but we don't deserve your grace. We want to praise you in every way we can. But you didn't walk away. You didn't have to say I love you, but you love me just the same. Oh, you didn't have to try. You didn't have to die to save me, but you saved me just the same. Waited so long, but I knew all along that I needed you. It took me some years and some pain and some tears, but you pulled me through. Waited so long, but I knew all along I needed you in my heart. And I wonder why I didn't love you from the start. It's a miracle, it's a miracle, it's a miracle happened today. It's a miracle, it's a miracle, the stone and he rolled it away. I've been walking on a cloud, I never had so much reason to be proud. I couldn't be any higher than I am, don't ever want down from your love. I've been walking on a cloud, I never had
Hello folks, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I just want to share my story with my situation back in 1981 in the United States Marine Corps. I was sitting in a chapel during boot camp, and a chaplain tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to come into his quiet room. As I was walking into his quiet room, I had no idea what he wanted from me. It was then that God was setting my life in motion. So the chaplain sat me down and he says, Ralph, I've noticed that you like to help people, you motivate people, you're always walking around with a smile. And I wanted to know, this is the chaplain saying this to me, I wanted to know, Ralph, would you like to volunteer and become a lay leader? And of course, I had no idea what a lay leader was. So he explained to me what a lay leader was. It's somebody that is a liaison between the recruits and the chaplain. So when the recruits have issues, problems, or anything like that, they go to the lay leader, and they go to the chaplain as the lay leader to let the chaplain know of the situations that are happening. It was then in 1981 that God already had a plan for me, and when there from that point on was that God realized that no matter how long it would take for me to achieve what God already knew what was going to happen to me, He would let me go down into the worst extremes in life. So from 1981 as a lay leader, and I'm going to show you the medal now with a lay leader, the front and the back. This is the back of the medal, and then the front looks like this. So in 1981, at Paris Island, South Carolina, when I became a lay leader, God already had my life set in motion. But again, He wanted me to set my own course in life. So I went down the years and the course of my life and did some of the worst things possible to my own body through alcoholism. God already said to Himself, well, I'm going to wait for Ralph to get close to hitting rock bottom. So from 1981 until 2011, which is 30 years, God came to me again and He said, Ralph, are you ready to continue helping other people? That's when I formed Mastic Beach Outreach 2011, and what that was is for older people and mentally and physically challenged people, that my wife and I would help them by giving them clothing, food, possibly, like in one case, tires for someone's car. And so God said, okay, he is getting better, but he's still not ready to do what I really wanted him to do. So in 2011, I continued my alcoholism to the point of 10 to 15 shots a day. As time went further, two years down the road, it became worse and worse with my alcoholism. In 2013, God finally put His big hand on my head and says, are you ready now? That is when I hit rock bottom. June 22nd, 2013, I reached out and I finally admit that I had an alcohol problem. It was then when God lifted me up and set my life in motion for today, September 2nd, 2014. So from 2013 until 2014, I continue educating myself and you, others, through my websites, through my videos on how to battle with addiction. And God saw this, and He said to Himself, Ralph is still continuing helping people. So in between 2013 and 2014, as time was going by, and I proved to God that I was really reforming myself, that God introduced me to Dr. Luis Gonzalez. I had been toying with the idea about becoming a substance abuse counselor until I ran into an article about recovery coaching. So I thought it was very ironic that God had planted Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point, that's StartingPointMN.com, 844-414-8444, into my life. Dr. Luis Gonzalez gave me the educational programming to turn me into a recovery coach. So while I was training for Dr. Luis Gonzalez to become a recovery coach, and today, my father comes from South Carolina to visit, and we're looking at my shrine, which my wife calls a shrine, which is all my Marine Corps ribbons and medals. And my father asked me, Ralph, what is this medal for? What is this particular medal for? And I then said to myself, here's where it all came together. I finally realized what that medal stood for and how it influenced me in my life. It was back in 1981 that God knew already that I would eventually, towards the middle or 60% of my life, be out to help other people, to continuously help people, to motivate people, to coach people. So it was from 1981 to 2011 that I ran my life to the ragged ends, to the pit of the worst. And then from 2011 to 2013, even worse than that. And then June 22nd, 2013, finally helped myself up with the grace of God. And in 2014 became an addiction recovery coach. And all that epiphany came to me due to my father asking me what this stood for. This particular silver medal. When he asked me that, it all finally came together, that God had bigger and better plans for me. And this is what I'm telling you, folks. There is a plan for you. No matter what the plan might be, you don't know what it is, but there is a plan for you. It's just a matter of you figuring it out. So why don't you let me help take your life back? Thank you. God bless you, and have a sober day. Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back. Today is September 4th. It's about 3:30 in the morning. I just wanted to share with everyone something this morning. I saw a demonstration maybe about a month ago in reference to our dark side and the power of prayer. If you continuously pray over and over and over again, things will eventually become clear. Although a lot of times when we pray to God, we don't get answers right away. But if you continuously pray over and over, things become clear. So the demonstration involves this bottle, and if you see, the inside of this bottle is all dark liquid. That represents our dark side. And this cap represents our limitations. So we as a human, which is the bottle, have limitations, which is this cap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bottle into the sink, and we're going to do a demonstration. So let me put that there. I'm going to turn the camera around so that everybody can see it. And hopefully you folks can all see it now. Okay, so you see the bottle. I'm going to turn the water on. Okay, so now everything inside is dark, which represents our body and our inside. And what I'm going to do, and this clear water represents our prayer. So you see the continuous water running. I'm going to now, as the prayer, as we're praying, I'm going to lift our limitations, which is the cap. And we're going to slowly add our prayer to this. We all go through dark times. I mean, I've had some dark years. I just didn't understand everything that was happening. I'm going to admit it that I'm not a super patient person. I tend to want answers right away and know what's happening and what I can do to solve it. I don't like not being happy and confident about things. It's just not who I am. But when I get down, it takes a lot for me to get back up. If we pray for a sign, which is this, the water is prayer, but just give up because we feel like God's already heard our prayer and He knows what we need, but He hasn't answered. It's kind of like when we were kids in the toy store and we kept asking our mom and dad for toys, but we never got any results. Yeah, it never worked for me either, but you get what I mean. Anyway, that is exactly what's happened to me in the past years. I have prayed and prayed and prayed, but haven't really gotten any results. The answer I thought God would give me, and especially in the time of frame, I thought my problems would be fixed, which was all before 2013. Then in 2013, my cap of limitations was lifted. This is the cap, remember this now, was lifted off the bottle, which is my body. Here is where I will just show you how that worked for me. So basically we all have dark sides, which is what's in the bottle, was in the bottle. We are facing, and we take the limitations off our mind, which was the cap I lifted. Don't limit what He can do, because we have to just trust in the Lord. That sometimes even after we pray and we just give up, and it is often why we get defeated. However, even though nothing has really changed, we just keep praying. That's the prayer, the sign of the prayer, the flowing Lord. Just keep praying and never ever give up praying. And if we do that and devote ourselves completely to the Lord, He will pull us through. The dark times will go away, and we just have to be patient. I know it's hard. Being patient truly is a virtue. But by never ever giving up on prayer, it's going to show you that God will eventually answer all your prayer. And the more we pray, which is this water going into the bottle, one day everything will become clear. You see how clear this is now? That is the power of prayer. Folks, I think that demonstration says it all. If we had a bottle which represents our body, and the bottle, everything was dark on the inside, and the water coming out of the faucet represents the prayer day after day after day, just keeps adding to the darkness which was in the bottle. Eventually, all that prayer has to turn what was dark inside this bottle, which is our body, has to change and become as clear as this water in here. That, folks, is the power of prayer. Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back Today show with Ralf Friedrichs. Today we are going to talk about the 10 hardest drinking characters that are on TV. These are just characters that play the role of drunks, and some of them you might recognize the names and some you might not. But we're going to just go briefly over the 10 hardest drinking characters on TV. As always, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Luis Gonzalez at startingpointmn.com. You can reach him at 844-414-8444. What Dr. Luis Gonzalez does is he will walk with you from your addiction to your recovery, hand in hand, one day at a time, today and tomorrow. He will never, ever discuss yesterday with you. He doesn't want to discuss your past because it is about today. It is about tomorrow. What are we going to do today to change and change tomorrow and our future? It is not about what we have done in our past. Maybe we can learn from our past, but we certainly can't change it. Call Dr. Luis Gonzalez, 844-414-8444. On the other side of Dr. Luis Gonzalez's business, he can turn you, that's right, you, into an addiction recovery coach. If you have passion, professionalism, and a personality, and you have some sort of addiction background, maybe battling your own, or maybe helping others battle, call him at 844-414-8444. Let Dr. Luis Gonzalez help take your life back. GlobalEyeglasses.com, they are focused on saving you money. They have eyeglasses that start as low as $6. What does that $6 give you? That $6 gives you a frame. It gives you single vision, clear, non-coated plastic lenses. It gives you a cloth and it gives you a case, all for as low as $6. The glasses, as far as the frames, they go up to about $49. Those all include the single vision, clear, non-coated plastic lenses. Now, if you want to upgrade and you want to get progressives, they have them. You want to get transitions or photochromatics, they have them. You want to get photo grays, photo browns, those are the colors you can get. You can get polarized lenses, you can get thin lenses. All that is available at globaleyeglasses.com, where they are focused on saving you money. Folks, I happen to know this company very well. If you want to shout out to me, you can reach me at 631-599-0218, and I can help you place your order. I'm also in the optical field, been doing it for about 30 years, so I can certainly assist you in any purchase you might want to make, but you need to go to www.globaleyeglasses.com. Go to my website where you can see my latest episodes. Go to www.takeyourlifebacktodayShow.com and you can see my latest episodes. You can read my story, my past. You can also go to my other website, which is www.clearviews.info. Clearviews.info consists of article after article and video after video of addiction and recovery of drugs and alcohol. It's the 411 of websites. It has so much information, and these pages that I have on there with all this information is provided to you by a doctor, a psychologist. I am not the writer of any of those. I am merely the messenger, and I bring it to you in your living room. I bring it to you in your kitchen. I bring it to you if you're sitting in jail watching me or in a homeless shelter. But it all starts with you going to those websites, www.clearviews.info and www.takeyourlifebacktodayShow.com. We, as promised, will talk about the 10 hardest drinking characters on TV. And number one on my list that I had to come up with, and everybody who remembers this, is Cheers. Do you remember Cheers, the show? I mean, it was great with Woody Harrelson and Ted Danson. Well, do you remember Norm and Cliff? Norm and Cliff sat at that bar during every show. And here's the thing about Norm and Cliff. You never saw them without a beer and drink, and even more importantly, is you never saw them drunk. Again, these are characters. Norm and Cliff came from the show Cheers, starring Ted Danson and Woody Harrelson. Ron Swanson's of Parks and Recreation. And on a sad note, I want to just add that the producer from Parks and Recreation just 4 days ago allegedly overdosed on drugs or alcohol or both and is now deceased. Ironically, I wrote this actually a week ago, even before this happened with the producer, and here we are talking about, but it is not Ron Swanson, it is the producer or the assistant producer of Parks and Recreation. Ron Swanson, it's not that Ron Swanson is a drunk or that the alcohol even affects his everyday life, but that he holds liquor so well. He is unbelievable on the show, and I will tell you, no matter who you are, you'll never hold your liquor like Ron Swanson can on Parks and Recreation. Number two is Karen Walker of Will and Grace. Karen Walker came to the show to do and drink alcohol. She drinks and drinks and drinks, and her true love truly is to drink alcohol on the show. I'm not sure what purpose that really serves other than to show that people are alcoholics. But Karen Walker of Will and Grace. Then you have Calamity Jane from Deadwood. Calamity can drink any man, and I mean any man, under the table. Doesn't matter how big the man is. She can also drink. Then you have Lucille Bluth, and she is from Arrested Development. She was never, ever sober on the show. Maybe you know better. Maybe you can text me at 631-599-0218. Can you tell me if Lucille Bluth was ever sober on the show Arrested Development? Then we have Jimmy McNulty of The Wire. Drank so much that it cost him his marriage, and even more after the divorce. When I say cost him, I'm not just talking about losing a person. I'm talking about costing him financially. But even after his divorce, he ended up paying the price. Then we have the entire cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That entire cast, throughout each and every episode, each and every show, all they do is drink. That is amazing. The show is really based on drinking, I guess. Then we have Tommy Gavin of Rescue Me. For much of the Rescue Me's run, alcoholism is a huge part of Gavin's character arc. Even when sober for a year, he went to AA, and not only did he go to AA, he started drinking again and convinced everyone in AA to start drinking again. That is Tommy Gavin of Rescue Me. Then we have Don Draper of Mad Men. A few seasons, Don Draper was a functional alcoholic, but it finally caught up to him. And that is from Mad Men and Don Draper. So he was able to deal with it, and then it finally caught up with it. Then you have Frank Gallagher of Shameless. All due respect to everyone on this list that I just went over, no one can drink like Frank. He can even outdrink, who was it on my list that can drink? Oh, Calamity Jane. I did say that she can outdrink anyone, but honestly, she would have her challenges with Frank Gallagher. The shows are as follows once more. Norm and Cliff from Cheers. They always had a beer in their hand, and they never appeared drunk. Ron Swanson of Parks and Recreation. He holds his liquor unbelievably, but on a sad note, Parks and Recreation just recently allegedly, well, not allegedly, they did lose their producer due to death, but allegedly it was because of overdose. Karen Walker of Will and Grace, she was, her true love on the show was based on alcohol. Calamity Jane, she could drink any man, possibly except for Frank Gallagher, under the table. Lucille Bluth of Arrested Development. Was she ever sober? Anyone, please text me. Let me know if you've ever seen Lucille Bluth sober on Arrested Development. Jimmy McNulty from The Wire drank so much that it cost him not only his marriage, but it cost him over and over even after marriage. The entire cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was always drunk. Tommy Gavin of Rescue Me, for much of Rescue Me's run, alcoholism was a huge part of Gavin's character arc. Even when he was sober and he started going to AA, he relapsed, started drinking again, but continued going to AA, and while in the AA, even convinced everyone at the AA meetings to start drinking again. Now that, I'm telling you, is unbelievable. Then we have Don Draper of Mad Men. A few seasons, Don Draper was a functional alcoholic, but it finally caught up to him. And Frank Gallagher of Shameless. All due respect to everyone on this list, but no one can drink like Frank. The only person that might have given him a run for the money on this list would have been from Calamity Jane from Deadwood. Folks, a sober today, I guarantee you, will make a better tomorrow. And if you start thinking positive, you will get nothing but positive things in your life. And just say no to drugs and alcohol is the best thing for you to do. All these characters are on shows. Whether or not they drink in real life, I don't know, but I will tell you, these shows is happening in your neighborhoods. These shows is happening maybe even in your own household. These shows are happening everywhere around the world. And if you look at some of these things that are going on these shows, you're probably saying, never ever in my neighborhood, but it does. And think about this, folks, as you're sitting there, wherever you're watching me. Is it happening in your own house? Do you feel that you need to drink 1 or 2 drinks a day? And if so, do you feel that you sometimes have to drink more, or maybe all the time have to drink more? If you are doing that, then I am telling you right now, you might have an alcohol problem. Do you feel like that you need to smoke marijuana, or you need to do drugs every day? I'm telling you, you might have a problem. Folks, the only way to get rid of any alcohol or drug issues in your life is to finally, first and foremost, admit you have a problem. As long as you keep denying that you have a problem, nothing ever will change. Nothing ever will change. But once you realize that you have a problem, like I did June 22nd in 2013, then you finally say, I have a problem, I need to change, I need to take my life back. And then with the grace of God, you reach up to God and you ask God for guidance. You ask God for direction, and God will provide that to you. I use this example in every show, and I'm going to use it again. Your body is like a ship, and your mind is like an ocean. It's like the captain. So your body's like the ship, and your mind is the captain. Would you take your ship as the captain into rough seas without navigation? Well, right now, if you're doing drugs and alcohol and possibly abusing it, your navigation is no good to you. You cannot face the rough seas, the rough ocean without navigation. And I'm telling you, I'm sitting here right now to tell you, the only navigator that is available to you is a word called hope, and the only hope is through God. If you reach up to God, He will guide and direct you through any rough ocean. Now keep in mind that these things don't just happen. You need to pray to God each and every day, no matter what the problem might be. It could be about homework, it could be about financial issues, relationship issues, but you need to pray to God each and every day. And when you do that, you might not see results right away. But if you pray over and over and over, no matter what darkness is in your life, whether it's problems, issues, those problems will become clear with the power of prayer. The power of prayer is so strong, but what you need to do is lift your captive limitations. You need to open up to God, and you need to let God navigate you through any rough sea, through any rough ocean. It all starts with you, and it all starts today. I just wanted to see what time we're up to. Folks, when you are ready to do this, when you have admit that you have a problem, and when you reach up to God for guidance and direction, let Him navigate you for the rest of your life. Continuously pray to Him. Continuously ask Him to guide and direct you. Now that you have admitted you have a problem, what will you do? What is the action plan? I am a strong believer that everything in life requires an action plan to accomplish something. My action plan today to do this show was to come up with the 10 hardest drinking characters on TV. Then my action plan was to dispense this information directly into your home, into jail, into homeless shelters, addiction websites. That is considered an action plan. An action plan is you think about what needs to be done and then you come up with a plan to get it done. So if you have an alcohol problem and you're really finally admitting you have one and you're finally ready to make a change in life and you finally reached up to God for guidance and direction, your action plan now would be the following. It would be either a treatment center, whether it's inpatient or outpatient, whether it's 30, 60, or 90-day programs. It could be an action plan consisting of AA, where you do 90 meetings the first 90 days of sobriety, where you want to find somebody in AA that is what you feel to be a person that is structurally in mind with their sobriety that can possibly guide and direct you. Because God will guide and direct you no matter what, but you also need somebody here on earth that you can actually go to, that you can possibly call when you find yourself in those times of trouble. When you find yourself possibly relapsing, you need to have a person that you can reach out to. You can reach out to God each and every minute of each and every day for the rest of your life. But having a person, a sponsor, if you're going through AA, is certainly recommended. You can have an addiction recovery coach, someone that will motivate you, someone that will set a clear path of recovery for you starting today, going forward. Not someone that will look at your past. That is the biggest problem on a lot of issues of sobriety and recovery these days, is that too many people focus what you have done that is bad and not focusing on what needs to be done today to get better. Because when we talk about what you've done that is bad from your past, what we are doing is we're forming a sort of negativity, a sort of negative feelings, a sort of bringing your morale down that is not going to help you for today and for tomorrow. What we need to do is shoot with some positive thoughts, with a positive attitude starting today and continuing into tomorrow. That is what an addiction recovery coach does. I am an addiction recovery coach. Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point is an addiction recovery coach. The word coach in itself, think about it. What does a coach do of a hockey team? What does a coach do of a baseball team? They motivate you. They look at strategy to get you to play better today and to get you to play better tomorrow. And that is exactly what an addiction recovery coach does. I am here today to tell you what you need to do today to get better for tomorrow. I am not here to say, well, Johnny, look at what you did yesterday. You stole money from your parents to do drugs. How is that going to help you? Because you're at a point in life where anything could trigger you off. So the worst thing for me to do is to want to bring up your negative things from your past. The best thing I want to do is to bring up all the positive things that can come out of sobriety starting today into tomorrow. If you want an addiction recovery coach for your sobriety, you can call me at 844-405-HELP. So now that you have those options, AA, treatment centers, possibly an addiction recovery coach, those are just 3 options. There are thousands of options. But now that you have options, one thing you can never, ever, ever do, and that is to go back to your old drugs and alcohol consumption. You can't do that. Yes, there are going to be people, including myself at one time years ago, that have relapses. But the thing about a relapse is that you dust your knees, pull yourself up, and you keep going forward. You don't relapse and then continuously drink. You don't relapse and continuously do drugs. You might relapse, but you have to learn from that relapse and you got to move forward. That is progress. That is positive. But if you relapse and go back into the old ways, that is negative. Remember what I read at the bottom when I said think positive and positive things will happen. Think positive and positive things will happen. Folks, you need to, if you decide to make those changes, you need to make those changes and you need to make them today. I will tell you, there are thousands of people that are watching me possibly saying, well, okay, I will change, but I will change tomorrow. Folks, you are not guaranteed a tomorrow. I'm not a guaranteed a tomorrow. Right now, as I sit in front of this camera, as you're watching me, wherever you might be, and you're breathing and I'm breathing and we're talking, there is someone on earth, whether it's in your community, whether it's in your state or in your country or globally, that is taking their last breath, that is closing their eyes for the last time. And those people, did they say to themselves, I will change tomorrow? And did they have a chance for change? How many of those people possibly? There are parts of this earth that people don't even get the luxuries of having video cameras, that don't have the luxury of having YouTube to get to watch shows like mine, that don't get the coaching that they need. They kind of just go through life, and at the end of life, things possibly could have gotten better, but they didn't because lack of information, lack of technology. But if you're watching me, you have the technology to watch me on YouTube, on websites, and I have the technology to have a camera sit in front of me and filming me into your living room, into your kitchen, or wherever you might be. This is all done out of a passion coming from my heart to help you. And if you truly want the help, you truly want to change, it is today, not tomorrow, that those changes need to start happening. Start today with a sober today, and I guarantee you tomorrow will be a better tomorrow, but you need to start today. You really do. So I'm begging each and every one of my audience that if you have an alcohol problem, if you have a drug problem, don't let 24 hours go by without even thinking about what I'm saying to you, without even thinking that changes are coming your way in a positive sense if you're willing to accept that you need help, if you're willing to accept that you have a problem and you need to reach up to God or whoever your higher power is. In my case, it's my God. Because God offers you a 4-letter word, and that is hope. Without hope, everything else is immaterial. No one ever plays lottery without hoping to win. No one ever plays sports without hoping to win. No one ever flies up in a plane without hoping to land. Hope is part of your English language, and hope is part of your life 24/7. And your only hope for sobriety and your only hope for a good recovery is through the power of God and your willingness to accept changes. That is really the bottom line. These hardest drinking characters, and I'll go through the list: Cheers, Parks and Recreation, Will and Grace, Deadwood, Arrested Development, The Wire, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Rescue Me, Mad Men, and Shameless. These shows with the characters are down the street. They're in your communities everywhere. These are characters on TV, but it's real life everywhere. It could be you. You could be one of those people like Norm and Cliff that walk around with beers in your hands all day. Or possibly lost your marriage because of alcohol. Or possibly could outdrink any person you feel. It could be you. But remember, these are just characters. You're a living person living a real life, and you have a real story. And your real story needs to have a happy ending. And the only happy ending for any person's story is a life of completion, of satisfaction, of helping other people. Because all of us one day will be standing in front of God, and God will look at us and He will say, what did you do to not only better yourself, but to help others? And what will your answer be? My answers are pretty simple. My answer is I helped myself by turning to God. I helped myself by realizing I had a problem, and I started changing. And another answer would be I help other people get the help that I have. or get the results that I have. It is my passion to help you, my audience. And it's not just via camera, it's via radio. When we do the call-ins, it's via websites when people send me messages. It's via all over the internet now. We have gone to a point where my videos are spreading across the internet. And eventually, within a year, hopefully the word will be a lot bigger. So it's up to you to first admit you have a problem, and then second, reaching for God, and then coming up with an action plan. Action plan is very important. My action plan is now to finish this video and to produce it, so that at the end of the day, you will have a copy of this. That's an action plan. Let your action plan for today include getting help for yourself or someone that you might know that is a loved one. And there are so many addiction recovery coaches within the U.S., and I want you to reach out to Dr. Luis Gonzalez because he does have 30 years experience. Call him at 844-414-8444, Dr. Luis Gonzalez from StartingPointMN.com. Let him help you take your life back. You can reach out to me at 631-599-0218 or my hotline, 844-405-HELP, and let me help take your life back. Dr. Luis Gonzalez and I are here to help you, but it takes you. It takes your first step to make it happen. Remember, a sober today, I promise you, will give you a better tomorrow. And if you start thinking positive, positive things will happen in your life. And please go back to the Nancy Reagan of the early 80s slogan. Please say no to drugs and alcohol. Just a quick thing before I close. I'm asking each and every one of you folks to tonight, when you take your shoes, sneakers, or slippers off, instead of just putting them at the edge of your bed, push them under your bed. That way, tomorrow morning, when you wake up, and you're privileged to wake up, you will pull them from under your bed to put them on. And while you're on your knees, please thank God that He is allowing you to live another day on this beautiful earth. With all the crisis that we see on this earth, with all the misfortunes that we see on this earth, He is allowing you to still live on this beautiful earth. The earth is as beautiful as you make it. We cannot control what goes on in the Middle East. We can't control what happens crime-wise anywhere, really. But you can control your own life. I'm not saying put a bubble around you, but what I am saying is you can control your own life. And no matter what you face in life, you can do that. So thank God tomorrow morning when you're on your knees that He allowed you to be on this earth, because there are people tomorrow morning while you're on your knees thanking God for another day that are going to take their last breath, that are going to close their eyes for the last time. Folks, it is such a pleasure always doing these videos to bring them into your home or wherever you might be. It is my passion to continue doing this for years to come, and I hope to God that I reach 2 people with this one video, and that one person is me, and maybe one other person in the audience, to maybe reach down into your heart to make you realize that changes can happen, that you don't need drugs and alcohol in your life. Those changes can happen if you start changing yourself. Please, everybody, have a great day, but more importantly, please have a sober day, and may God bless you and have a great day.